Hi everyone, I'm Graham Roberts. I'm going to be walking you guys through today the book I read called Dollars and Cents, How We Misthink Money and How to Spend Smarter by Dan Ariely and Jeff Kriesler. This book blends behavioral economics with psychology to explore one big topic: why are we so bad with money? Even smart, financially literate people often make irrational money decisions, and this book shows us why this happens and how we can get better at it. The core theme in Dollars and Cents is that we think that we're all rational and logical with our money. But unfortunately, this is not the case, and we're not. Money is abstract, and our brains can't wrap our heads around it consistently and 24/7. We fall into traps like emotional spending, mental accounting, and ignoring opportunity costs, and even more. The authors argued that by understanding our irrational behaviors, we can start making better financial decisions. And it's not just by budgeting or cutting out your daily cup of coffee. It's about changing the way that we think. One concept I found super interesting in this book is the pain of paying. And this basically refers to the psychological discomfort we feel when we spend our money. If you're paying for something in cash, typically there's going to be a bit of a mental threshold that limits you from spending all that cash because you're watching it leave your hands, versus nowadays you can pay with just tapping your phone, and basically it's not creating that mental obstacle that prevents you from spending more. So there's the pain of paying, and people will resort to paying with easier methods because it's less painful. Another concept that I found really cool in this book was called mental accounting. So in the back of everyone's mind, we kind of all keep personal budgets for ourselves. I guess we could, if we know how much money we're bringing in, we have these buckets in our brains that sort of allocate where our budgeting should go. So for example, if I make $1,000 in a week, maybe $100 is going to food, $100 is going to my personal entertainment, $100 is going towards gas and insurance for my car, whatever that may be. So keeping these sort of mental buckets of where your money's going and what it's used for is crucial when it comes to spending, because you ultimately know that a dollar is still a dollar no matter where you spend it and no matter where it comes from. Now, this next concept I use personally a lot in my day-to-day life, but that is looking at things with a sense of opportunity cost. So another concept that the book talks about is opportunity cost blindness. So an opportunity cost, as many of you know, is essentially what you give up when you make a decision. So for example, if I spend $100 on a night out, I'm not only losing and spending that $100, I'm giving up what else I could have done with that $100. Let's say I decided, hey, I'm not going to go out next week and I'm going to buy a used leaf blower, and I'm going to put that $100 into a couple of rakes and a leaf blower and start a lawn care business. So that's kind of the idea of opportunity cost, is that, once that dollar is gone, you've spent it, but what could you have done instead to kind of made yourself better off? I've come to realize that I am sometimes a victim of these traps myself, especially with the credit card versus cash one. I definitely feel like if you're watching the money physically leave your hand, then you're going to be apt to spend a little bit less. But as somebody who's pursuing a career in finance, I think it's crucial to understand some of these human tendencies that we all have with money, and that it's normal to feel these sort of ways about our spending and how we keep track of our money. To wrap it all up, Dollars and Cents is a fun, insightful, and surprisingly relatable read. It's not just a guide for managing your money. It's a deep dive into why we make the choices we do. And if you're interested in finance, psychology, or just want to be smarter with the way that you spend your money, I definitely recommend giving this book a read.